This is Fourth Time Around, episode 13. Good evening, this is Lisa.
And this is Joe.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
I was talking to the audience.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
How are you doing, Joseph?
No answer.
Yeah, the audience isn't very responsive.
I know. What is with you people? You know, we give
Holla.
and give and give, and we do and do and do.
Oh, now we have no room to say we give and give and give.
No,
I mean,
that's a
we
good point.
do. But what we get from our fellow podcasters,
And
even just seeing the hits from our anonymous listeners.
Mm-hmm. And from our we have listeners who are not podcasters as well. Don't forget.
I'm aware.
We have several. So, what's up?
Well, I've had a long day.
You did. We're recording this on Wednesday night, and Lisa just got back from class, and she's tired.
My day began at 7 a.m. with a glucose test. Now, rest assured that I'm not in ill health at all, but my doctor ordered this.
Yay. I mean,
Yay.
yay that you're in good health.
So I couldn't have any caffeine or any food until it was done. Well, they gave me a sugary drink to, try to send my blood sugar all haywire, I guess. And, so I couldn't have any caffeine till, 10:30. And I'll tell you what. So my whole day is, 3 hours behind. It's just been a long day.
Mm-hmm.
Then work, then class.
And then
now here.
Funny, wacky mayhem in the podcasting world.
I was just telling Joe how the first ancestor of humans with the modern human molar appeared 37 million years ago. And he was fascinated.
I was. I still am. I'm sitting here just totally amazed.
I can see it on your face. The amazement. The wonder.
Or it could be I'm just dazzled by your beauty because I once again get to do a podcast while sitting across from you. Don't roll your eyes.
Should we do
The
these
people listening can't hear you rolling your eyes.
Should we start doing these in the dark so you're not so distracted?
I have a feeling I'd be more distracted if we did it in the dark. But that's just me. Ho! I don't have my little Taco Bell SFX device with me.
And I would be too.
Well, we had a busy week, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
I don't even
Just
remember
starting
all we
when?
did.
Sunday, Monday?
Yeah. Well, we had the snowstorm last Friday, so that's when we did the podcast via Skype.
Mm-hmm. And that was fun.
And then on Saturday, let's not forget what we did on Saturday.
What did we do Saturday?
Wait for it. Sorry, fans. I should be more prepared for this.
What's your problem, Joe?
Jeez.
This podcast is really going to suck.
Yeah, sorry. Just so you know. By the way, that was Lisa's referring to the podcast that inspired us to do a podcast. It was this woman who did a chapter by chapter story thing that she was doing, and she was featured on iPodder.org. She was a featured podcast and downloaded. It was 17 minutes of, yeah, listen, I'm sorry, it really sucks. And so I'm going to read some comments from people. Okay, this guy wrote to me and he said he doesn't like my sense of humor. Sorry, that's my sense of humor. Okay, God, this podcast really sucks. And we were on our way back from Madison, Wisconsin. We looked at each other and we said, hey.
We can do better than that.
We could do better than that. Okay, I'm ready now.
Unfortunately, we were wrong.
Oh. This is what we did on Saturday afternoon.
Hey man, who's that cat coming down the street?
I don't know, but it sounds to me like that's the man with the bone.
Sure having himself a ball.
That's right. I got tickets to see the
Harlem Globetrotters.
And it was kind of funny, too, because nobody knew they were in town. You had mentioned it while we were on our way there, and I told some people at the office that we went, and they were like, man, are they still around? They did absolutely no advertising or anything of any kind.
I have to say the crowd could have been much, much bigger.
Well, they didn't sell any. It was at the United Center downtown.
That's where the Bulls play.
Right. And they didn't have any of the seats up above sold.
And the top level.
The top level, right? The top level, they weren't. And there were a lot of groups there. There seemed to be a lot of church groups and maybe school groups and whatnot. But the tickets we had were pretty good.
I went to see them about 15 years ago in Detroit, maybe. Packed.
Yeah?
We were up in the second or third level. I mean, this weekend we were, 15 rows back?
Yeah, we were pretty close.
We were a little bit off to the side, but...
We were just off the main floor, though, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, but we were way down there.
Mm-hmm. So that was a good time.
And I remember when I was a kid, it seemed like you knew about the Harlem Globetrotters months before they came.
Right. I don't think I saw a single ad.
I wouldn't have known they were there. You almost didn't know they were there.
That's true. Well, the interesting thing is that I bought tickets. The company I used to work for got a bunch of tickets, and I ordered these back in, I think, November.
Yeah, I kind of remember that.
And then I got a call from a former coworker on Friday saying, "Hey, man, this lady's looking for you. She's got your Harlem Globetrotter tickets." So I had to actually go back to my old employer's office to get the tickets. Fortunately, it's not too far from where I am now. So, and I ran into a couple of people that I used to work with. Like, "Hey, man, we miss you. You're back already?"
Har har.
It's only been a week.
Yeah, you're still in that honeymoon stage of the new job.
Yeah, that's right. Although it's
I don't know. They're putting you to work pretty fast.
They are. Well, my boss is going to be moving out of the country soon, so he's motivated to get me up and running real quickly, and it's good, and I'm enjoying it, which is really good. So, Harlem Globetrotters, if they come to your town, big thumbs up.
They're still, as far as I can tell, they're still doing basically the same show they've always done. Mm-hmm. Which is just good, clean, goofy basketball fun.
Yeah. And football at one point.
And football. And then football in reverse.
Right.
It was good times.
Good times. And we brought the kids along. And
of course.
Becky brought one of her friends along. So it was fun. It was a good time. Well, hey, listen. I dug up something for the entertainment of our audience and also for your entertainment as well.
Entertainment?
Your entertainment, Lisa. And I'm going to say right now, before I say anything else, that what you are about to hear is something that I defy any other podcaster. And I'm talking about any other podcaster
this is the throwdown.
Who has anything else like this in their past. I triple dog dare you to be man enough or woman enough to play something like this. You ready?
Ready.
I'm not even going to preface it. Just listen carefully.
You just prefaced it.
Okay. Sorry. Here it is.
Coming up during the next hour, or 45 minutes, I'll have some music from Kenny Loggins, Renaissance, the Eagles, an old one from the Beatles, and something from Supertramp. But first, there's a reminder from your friends at WHCM. Oranges, where Billboard's Top 100 albums are always on sale. Oranges Records and Tapes is the area's newest record store. Oranges has Billboard's Top 100 and latest releases. Oranges is located at the corner of Golf and Algonquin Road in Rolling Meadows. Oranges Records and Tapes has the area's best prices and largest selection. They're open nightly till 9, Sundays till 6 through Christmas. Remember, Oranges, where Billboard's Top 100 is always on sale. And that's a reminder from the Harper College Music Machine, WHCM. Here's Stevie Nicks with Fleetwood Mac from Tuscan. And Sarah.
There you go. Stevie Nicks with Fleetwood Mac.
The Harper
College Music Machine.
Circa 1980?
That was December of 1979. That was the very beginning of my radio career.
Wow.
Actually, the very beginning of my radio career was back when I was a freshman in high school on a high school radio station, which is no longer in existence.
Well, the beginning, I think, was even before that. I think Joey walking around with the tape recorder was the beginning. And I would give my left pinky finger to hear that.
Yeah, unfortunately, those tapes are long gone.
Seriously, if you have them, I will give you my finger.
Really?
Well, I mean, in a surgical procedure, not just like with a meat cleaver. Now, since you didn't preface...
There's more to this recording. There's more recordings.
I know.
Okay. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Are you going to play more?
I'll play more if you want to hear more.
Oh, well, I was going to ask you for a little background since you didn't preface it.
Okay. That was when I was
Except to say that you weren't going to preface it.
That
channeling
was
bitchy moms.
There you go. Hey, you might get thrown out for that. That was, like I said, it was December of 1979. I was a freshman.
I was learning to crawl.
There you go. And I was a freshman at Harper College. And at that time, that particular time slot, which I think was a Thursday afternoon, it was specified as soft rock because students are trying to study. Now, at
so you
4 in
didn't
the
pick out Kenny Loggins and Stevie Nicks?
what it was is there was a selection that I had to pick.
Oh.
But soon after that,
Still, here you say coming at you, a little Kenny Loggins.
Kenny Loggins coming at you.
Followed by Supertramp.
And Renaissance. I did get to throw some of my own stuff in there.
Yours, yeah.
What they did was we did get to go off. I was still new at that point, so I didn't want to go off the playlist too much. But then by the time the semester was over, or the following semester was over, I was playing all kinds of other stuff because there was stuff that was new at that point that might be considered softer. The whole thing was that they didn't want people being jostled out of their cubicles or study carols or whatever it was that they had. So we had to play softer stuff. So I play. There's another tape which is about maybe 6 or 8 months later, and I play like the Boomtown Rats. I Don't Like Mondays, which is might be considered a softer song, but it's a little bit more hip.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Played a little OMD. I played some. I was getting into some of the good stuff. So this is a little moment of history. And Orange's Records, that little place that I advertised today.
Oh, is that now where like Chipotle is?
That's where Chipotle is now.
Oh, I am so good.
So you have been in the place that I was talking about. There we go.
I wish it were still a record store.
Really. And it was, you know what? It was.
And I love Chipotle, but
it was Orange's was a great record store. I got a lot of stuff there. In fact, I used to get a lot of I told you this. I used to get a lot of posters there.
Yeah, after the stuff was
after the stuff wasn't on promotion anymore, they'd let you take the posters.
That is so cool.
Okay, here's one more little piece. Oh, that's still Stevie.
That's Fleetwood Mac with Stevie Nicks from Tusk and Sarah at 524 WHCM. The Kumquat Lounge at 1307 Rand Road in Prospect Heights is now open under new management as a rock club. Featured at the Kumquat on Mondays, beer is low price of 35 cents a glass until 11 p.m. Tuesdays at the Kumquat is Ladies' Night. The first drink is free and all others are half price. Wednesdays features the Bucket Brigade at the Kumquat. A 55-ounce beer bucket is $1 and refills are $1.75 each the rest of the night. Featured at the Kumquat on Thursdays are White Tornadoes. A 1-quart container of beer is $1.50 and refills are $1.50 each. The Kumquat Lounge is open every night until 7 p.m. Remember, that's the Kumquat Lounge at 1307 Rand Road in Prospect Heights between Palatine Road and the Randhurst Shopping Center. For further information, call 253-8400, the Kumquat Lounge. This has been a reminder from your friends at WHCM.
We were friends.
Here are the Eagles and the Sad Cafe from
the Sad Cafe from the Long Run. Okay. And it's kind of funny because it says between Palatine Road and Randhurst, and that's like a 5-mile stretch. So.
Oh, yeah. I wasn't even paying attention.
Now, here's another reason it's significant. The Kumquat Lounge, actually, it opened under new owners at that point, and then it closed shortly thereafter because for a very long time, they had a reputation of catering to a certain clientele, and when they tried to turn it into a rock club, that particular demographic, shall we say, that particular subculture, shall we say, kept returning to the place, and no one else would show up. Let's just say that the ladies' night was an attempt for them to try and break the mold.
Too many ladies.
Trying to break the mold of what their reputation actually was back then.
It was a club for men.
It was a club for men, exactly. So that was a commercial for the Kumquat Lounge. So there you go. So there's so that's a little piece of my past. I do have something else for Lisa here in this little bag. I was alone this evening for dinner, so we do have a cheap date, and we have that coming up.
Joe's alone on the date.
A solo cheap date. Look at this.
Oh, sweetie.
How did this get wet?
And
then this.
It is wet, and I don't know why. Oh, what Joe has before me is Lindt Excellent 70% Cocoa Dark Chocolate and Lindt Milk Chocolate Wafer.
I stopped at the European grocery on my way home, and I also have 2 Kindereggs, both of which got smashed in the process. So.
Aw. And the chocolate wafer is soaked.
Is it?
Well, I don't think the wrapper is soaked.
Okay.
I mean, like dripping.
So is this what I thought it was? Is it like a Ruger only coated in chocolate?
We're gonna
with
find
Lindt
out.
chocolate? We're gonna find out. Lisa's unwrapped. You can hear the foil,
Okay,
and
it's
here she
kinda
goes.
broken.
Ooh.
It's like one giant Kit Kat, one giant flat Kit Kat.
Yeah.
Look at
great.
that.
She's crunching. What do you think?
That's pretty good.
She just handed me a piece. I didn't get any wafer in that one, though. It was all chocolate.
Oh.
It's okay.
Well, there's not a lot of wafer.
The chocolate is awesome.
The wafer's pretty subtle.
Mm-hmm.
I think I would like this in dark. Lindt milk chocolate is a little too sweet for me.
Well, that's just fabulous, honey.
I need to try one more bite.
Well, you know what? I'll let you try one more
That
bite
was some good wafer.
because it's time for me to take it solo and take myself on
A cheap date.
So, getting off the train in downtown Arlington Heights, that place of fantasy, Pleasantville, the concept known as the Uber Town. I don't know. I don't even know where I'm going with this. I'm feeling a little hungry, so I head on over to Tuscan Market, which is it's a wine store, Italian grocery and deli, and also. What else does he have? Well, he has all kinds of stuff. Oh, he does things like corporate gifts and things like that. Anyway, we've talked about this place before. The guy who owns it, a guy by the name of Mitch, I actually met when he owned a restaurant in downtown Chicago, across the street from the Sears Tower, a place called Venice Cafe, which is awesome. It's no longer under his ownership.
Awesome.
And so I decided to go into Tuscan Market this evening because Mitch has tables in where you can actually go to the deli counter, get yourself a little sandwich, sit down, and enjoy a nice meal. I had my very favorite thing, which is the hot Italian sausage sandwich, which is
Hot Italian sausage.
hot Italian sausage. Yeah. So anyway, hot Italian sausage. It was awesome, and anyway, the hot
And
Italian.
leave you
sausage.
alone for one night and you're off getting hot Italian sausage.
I'm telling you. Dum.
At the Kumquat.
Why don't you go eat your 70% bar? So anyway, I go to Tuscan Market and got a sandwich, and it was great. It's on a nice fresh Italian hard roll. Mitch makes his own marinara sauce, a couple slices of provolone. He says to me, "You want any hot peppers on this?" And I said, "Let me have some jardinera on the side." And he looks at me like I was the most stupid person in the world.
He has a great you're an idiot look.
He does. He's
it's
a very
priceless.
he's a great, and that's not to put you off if you're in the area and you're going. Seriously, go in there. He's a great guy, and make sure you tell him that you heard about his shop from this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So I go in there. He and so he puts the sandwich together, and he says, He goes, I know how to put jardinera on there. So he did. So he put some hot peppers on there for me. And then I sat down and I started eating the sandwich. And there were these two guys in suits sitting at a table next to me, and there was a bottle, like a tall, clear glass bottle on the table. So they got up to say goodbye, and Mitch said, "Oh, by the way, pour this young man a drink," meaning me. So one of the guys comes over and he hands me this glass, or not a glass, but it's a plastic tumbler.
Sure.
And he hands it to me, and I said, "Oh, what's this?" And he said, "This is something called Potocki Vodka, which is vodka made at the oldest vodka distillery in Poland." And I said, "Okay, sure. I'm not really a vodka drinker, but I'll try it." I tasted this stuff. It was the smoothest vodka I have ever tasted in my life. I would put it on a par. It is to vodka what 10 cane is to rum. It's that smooth. So anyway, it turns out that the two guys who were in there, one guy is the importer for this vodka, the other guy is the distributor, and they're trying to get Mitch to carry this stuff in his store. And supposedly it's going to be introduced next month. It is, according to their website, it's available at a couple of higher-end restaurants and stores around the United States, including Chicago. So when the stuff is available, I'll get you some. And if any of you have a chance to try some,
We'll
please
podcast
do. We'll
that.
podcast that. Hey, dude. So that's something that I had that's not even on the menu, but I got to meet a couple of guys who were responsible for this stuff while I was eating mine. And it went beautifully with my Italian sausage.
Yeah, I bet.
He does have ready-to-make dinners in his little chiller case there. It's a little refrigerated case. You can get lasagna, chicken parmesan, all sorts of pastas. You can get things. You can get little tubs of his marinara sauce. It's all great stuff. And at the deli counter, you can bring home sausage, prosciutto, all the other classic Italian stuff you can bring home and cook up.
It's great.
And it's all top-notch stuff. Mitch has owned several different restaurants in the Chicago area, and he was also in charge of a chain of liquor, of a very large chain of liquor stores here in Chicago as well.
Yeah,
And,
so he knows what he's
so
doing.
he knows what he's doing. So it's great, and he takes care of his customers real well. He also, like I said, he's also very big. It's primarily a wine shop, so we've never bought a bad bottle of wine from him.
You know what? That's absolutely true. We've never bought a bottle of wine there that we didn't absolutely love.
That's true.
Thank you, Mitch.
That's right. So 2 big thumbs up to Mitch and Tuscan Market. He's at 141 West Wing Street in Arlington Heights.
It's also a great
Stop on by.
cheap
Oh.
date for takeout.
Right. Hence, and that's where the cheap date comes in, is because if you just want a sandwich or something like that, you can go in there, pick it up. You can either eat it there. He has tables, or as Lisa said, you can take it out.
Well, you can bring home that chicken parmesan, microwave it for 5 minutes, and it feeds too. It's
That's true.
awesome.
And those 2 big thumbs up.
And it's fresh
they're both
made.
my thumbs.
It's not like all preservative laden, like many microwavable meals.
There it is, Tuscan Market. Okay, baby.
Moving on.
Moving on. Before we wrap this up, we need to say hi to people.
Hi, people.
Hey, people. Okay, enough of that. Next? No. We want to say hi to the usual crowd, Aaron and Jenny of The Big Show. We also want to say hi to Shelly of Shelly's Podcast. Thanks for the comment on our weblog. And also hi to Diane S.
And happy birthday.
over in the UK. Should we sing happy birthday to her? Hey, did you know that you can't sing the song Happy Birthday in a restaurant?
Why?
Because it's copyrighted.
By whom?
By some, I told you I was going to Google that and look that up. Yeah, some school teacher actually made up the melody, and her ancestors, not her ancestors, her descendants. Thank you. Sorry, I was going the other way on that one. Her descendants keep renewing the copyright on it. So, which is why when you go to restaurants that have lots of flair, they have their own little happy birthday from all of us to you, happy birthday, because they can't sing the happy birthday song.
How about that?
So what should we sing to Diane S? Or should we just say happy birthday?
I don't think we should sing anything if we like her at all.
Happy birthday, Diane. We hope
Go.
you have a wonderful one. Go out and get yourself a nice Cadbury's chocolate bar. Have a caramello. The caramello bars we get here in the United States suck. And I know the ones that are over in Europe are still really good.
I'm going to put together this Kinder toy right here on the air.
Okay,
Maybe
while
we'll
she's
send
doing
it to
so,
Diane.
there you go. Also, hi to Charley and Carol from Israelisms, and congratulations to those guys for their 10 out of 10 on The Big Show.
We have nothing to say about that.
For Dead or Alive.
No, really, that was amazing.
Very good. And also to Absolute Amy and Red Boy of the Red Boy Podcast, thanks for talking about us on your last show. And if you guys ever want to get up to the Sears Tower, I still have connections, so we can get you up there. If
You don't need connections.
Well, I have connections anyway.
But just in case, Joe has them.
Just in case. Is there anything that we need to say to Karen and Ross? Do we have an update on the Billy No Mates Club?
You know what? I've been a little out of it the last couple days. I know that I listened to Z and Z today, finally.
Oh, their latest episode?
Yeah, Ross thinks it's a secret society, which it is not. It's not.
It is. It's like Skull and Bones. Or like, you guys
It's like Fight Club.
Yeah.
I did like that.
Hey, you know who's got a new gig? Or an additional gig?
Who?
Steve Jobs. We were talking about this last night. I'm sure by the time a lot of people hear this is something that would have gone around and around and around
I
and
know,
around.
this is totally old news by the time you hear it. By the way, are we the only people who didn't talk about the Golden Globes on our podcast?
Yeah.
I wouldn't have even known they had happened if it weren't for other podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't usually get riled up about this stuff, but Pixar and Disney, I'm a little nervous. It just sort of seems like... Remember when we used to joke about, like, MSNBC, NBC, BS, TD? Like, when you just thought eventually all the corporations are going to come together and form one
megaglomerate. Entertainment and everything, right.
That's what I see with Disney and Pixar.
I don't necessarily see that, but I did have a prediction about 2 years ago that Steve Jobs was going to wind up as CEO of Disney. And if anybody out there wants to take the other side of this bet, I predict that within 2 years, Steve Jobs will be CEO of Disney. Guaranteed.
And you know what? I'd like to put out a more philosophical argument. I think Steve Jobs is more egotistical and more monopolistic.
Be very careful. We'll get kicked off iTunes for this.
Oh, I'd like to see them try. More egotistical and more monopolistic than Bill Gates could ever be. He's not been as successful at it as Bill Gates. And the reason he hasn't been as successful is because he's so monopolistic. The reason Microsoft owns whatever 95% of the operating systems is because they opened their code up. They opened themselves up.
Well, they didn't really well, let's be careful with that.
I don't know what
the architecture.
Here's my point.
And they allowed other people. It was VHS and beta is what it was. That's what it was. They didn't keep, it wasn't like Sony. They didn't keep control of everything. They just said, here's the standard, write stuff to this standard. And then we'll come around and we'll snap you up and buy you and put you out of business.
Here's my point. Bill Gates would like to have 95% of the market, and he does. Steve would like to have 200% of the market. I don't even know what if left unchecked by competition, specifically if left unchecked by the competition of Microsoft, there's no telling. Apple would be a far worse monopoly, I think, than Microsoft.
You think?
And if anybody would like to argue with that, well, I don't know. I don't really like to argue, but
it'd be a good debating point.
If anyone disagrees, and I like Apple a lot, but
we both own iBooks.
I think the only reason
both own a lot. We both own. Apple has a lot of our money. We'll put it that way.
If it weren't for Microsoft making such a good competitor early in the game, your Apple laptop would have like a trackpad and one mouse button, and that would be it.
Right. Oh,
you don't need a keyboard
and a DVD writer. No floppy, no CD.
That's right, and a DVD writer. If that, they might make you sign up for .Mac and back up to their internet host.
It's entirely possible. Okay, well, I'd like to hear if anyone has any comments, any responses to Lisa's thing on this.
Apple's products would be so off in space.
I was thinking about that this morning because I actually, as I had mentioned in an earlier podcast, actually worked with Steve Jobs because a company that I worked for was Next Computer's biggest customer. And I got to be within the reality distortion zone quite often. And I've spent a lot of time in conference rooms with Steve. And it's true. He's a very charismatic. He's a great salesman. The thing about Steve is, and I applaud the skit on Saturday Night Live with the iPod Pequeño. That captured him completely, especially when Tina Fey says, well, I don't know how you could watch video on that screen. It's so tiny. And he says...
She said you can't see it.
You can't see it. And he says, I know. It's exciting. That's exactly what it is. I saw that happen in real life when... Here's the thing.
This thing doesn't have a keyboard. No. I know.
No.
Exciting.
You know what it was? Seriously. It didn't have a floppy disk drive. When the next station was, and correct me, I know that some of my former coworkers listen to this, and they can correct me on the dates on this, but I believe the next station was introduced in 88 or 89. It had a writable optical drive. And at that point, 1988, 89, probably maybe 40% of offices had networks, and only probably 20% of those, if that, were TCP/IP networks on which Next machines could talk. And in order to get data on it, you had to put it either on an optical drive somehow, or you had to have the computer on a network. And the thing was, is I was sitting there, and I was there when someone said, Steve, it doesn't have a floppy drive. And he said, I know. And everyone just kind of looked at each other. Like, okay, well, all right. But anyway, and then they finally were like, and this is not to bash
That'd be
Steve
like
Jobs,
if in 95 you had released a computer that had just a zip drive.
Right.
Like, some people had it, but anyway, sorry.
And what he did, when he finally did introduce, when they finally added a floppy drive to the next machine, because they did, when they finally did, it was a special extended density floppy drive. It was a 2 megabyte floppy drive instead of a 1.44 megabyte drive like everyone else had. In fact, I have a couple of the discs here.
I've seen those.
Yeah, but it was, and they're not readable. They could be formatted to 1.44, but they're not readable on like a regular floppy drive. So
why would you want a regular floppy drive?
I know, it's exciting. For those of you who have not seen that particular skit on Saturday Night Live, very seriously, download it.
And you know what? That's fine. That's why we have a capitalist society. Somebody much more pragmatic like Bill Gates. Between the two, they really challenge each other. Apple makes Microsoft's products more aesthetically pleasing and easier to use, and Microsoft, well...
I'd phrase it differently. Apple always tends to push the envelope and go... They tend to introduce things that people like Dell wouldn't even think of. And then the people who build the Microsoft-based products like the Dells of the world and the HPs, they just take that stuff and bring it to the masses.
I worry that Apple's becoming too much an entertainment platform, and because there are still a lot of practical applications for an Apple. I mean, anything you can do on a PC, you can do on a Mac. But all you ever hear about is iTunes and this video stuff and entertainment. And I'm afraid that we're going to end up with, like, Firefly versions of laptops that are just like toys. They're not like serious machines.
Well, they're a commodity now.
I have a vision of a Disney princess laptop, which I would totally buy.
You know what? It would sell. Yeah, that's right. You'd be the first in the line. It would totally sell. I think it's time we say goodnight, folks. The toy that Lisa was assembling required absolutely no assembly. It's a little... What is that?
Literally, there were 2 pieces that I had to snap together. It's a snail that apparently can row itself. It just floats in the water and rows. Mm-hmm. And it has this little wheel that you have to turn very forcefully that makes it make a rowing motion.
He's like a little pirate kind of...
Yeah, there's this whole little line of pirate snails.
So thank you for... So anyone who wants to comment on this, Lisa doesn't want to argue, but she would be willing to debate.
Send us your address, Diane, and we'll send you some Kinder toys.
That's right. Okay, I think we're going to wrap this one up. Our song that we're going to close with tonight is from a Chicago-based band who we found in the PodSafe Music Network at music.podshow.com. The band is called Hop on Pop.
Oh, yay.
And this is a song called Carrie's Here. You can email us at fourthtime@gmail.com. You can also leave us comments on our weblog at fourthtimearound.net. We are also on Pickle page number 3800. I don't know why it's difficult for our podcast to be found on there, but if you go into the search box and type in 3800, you'll see us. You can listen to the show there, and if you're so inclined, you can add us to your favorites. So feel free to do that.
Yay, we would love that.
Have a listen to the song. It's kind of cute. And then afterwards, I have a little something extra because February 7th will be the 42nd anniversary of the Beatles' first visit to the United States.
Oh.
And I have a little clip from a movie, and so enjoy that.
Excellent.
At the very end. So, and I'm not going to say any more about that. Is that it? Are we done?
I love it when you don't say anything about something.
Oh, yeah, and by the way, I'm not going to say anything about this either.
5 minutes not saying anything.
It's just the way I am, sweetie pie.
I know. I love it. To
Okay.
hear O. Pierce.
Oh, do I have to do it?
Yes.
Hold on. I have to get into character. It's like, hello. I'll do Pierce first. Hold on.
Yeah.
I need to get... Hello, Marge. I've prepared a bath for you. It's a perfect 92 degrees. Hope you enjoy it. Oh, Pierce! Thank you. And that's not quite as good as it could be, but I'll take it.
You're nervous.
I know. I don't know why I'm on the spot. Because I know our legions of listeners
You
are...
can cut it if you don't like it.
We'll leave it in.
Okay.
All right, everybody. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you again next week.
Good night.
It's 5 o'clock in the morning, Sunday, my day off. podcast is proudly listed at podcastpickle.com.
So, we went to New Orleans to find out just how expensive it is to make these documentaries. I'm standing by the banks of the Mississippi, in Louisiana, the cradle of the blues. That's black music sung mainly by whites. And we're here to find out the black origins of Ruttle music. I spoke with Blind Lemon Pie.
Well, everything I learned from the Ruttles.
From the Ruttles, really?
Yes, everything.
But surely you were singing the blues back in the early 30s?
No, I was working on the railroad. I worked on the railroad for 30 years or more until I heard the Ruttles. Then I decided that that's my type of music. I'm going to leave the railroad, and I became a musician. And I've been starving ever since.
So, where did Ruttle music originate?
Next door.
Next door?
Next door to Ruttle and Orange Peel.
Yes, sir. I originated the Ruttle. They got it all from me, every single bit of it.
Well, how do you mean?
Well, sir, they come here and they took everything they ever written. Those 4 guys from Liverpool came here.
He's lying.
I ain't lying.
He's always lying.
I ain't lying.
Every time there's a documentary on white music around here, he claims he started it all.
I did.
Last week, he claimed he started the Everly Brothers, Frank Sinatra, and Lawrence Welch.
I did.
He's always lying.
Well, we seem to be rather wasting our time here in New Orleans, despite the expense. Still, pretty, isn't it?